I would like to conclude this maybe with this talk about this concept of middle class and taxation. I request the middle class not to think that they are the only being taxed. Everybody is paying tax. The rich, the poor in the form of GST. Because unless we pay taxes, the government has no revenues. If the government has no revenues, it cannot pay its salaries. It cannot meet its requirements of defense. It cannot meet its requirement providing us infrastructure facilities. So these what is what we are looking at. We should look at when we contribute to the taxes. For example, we are talking about some states. It is sad within India we have states which are so much in debt that one state has now refused to pay its pension and also the requirements of its MLAs and MP of its government. Why? In another state also they are saying that we are unable to meet the requirements of infrastructure. We can't put in more infrastructure. We can't invest in anything because we are broke. Why? Because we started giving freebies. He said, yes, yes, we will provide you with this, we'll give you this free, we'll give away. When anything comes free, you must understand who's going to meet the liability for that. Who's going to compensate you for that? It may look nice on paper and it may look nice when you receive the money. But over a period of time, what happens? You go broke. Just like as I was talking about the Build Road initiative of China, that is what happened. They kept borrowing, they lived beyond their means, and one day they had to literally hawk their country. Kenya is another example. So many African countries are suffering because of this roadway concept of China. They're all deeply in debt to billions and billions of dollars. So, in the same manner, you're looking at a house. Suppose you keep hawking your jewelry, you hawk your house, you hawk your this, you hawk everything and go deep into debt. You borrow on your credit card and one day you are going to stand on the streets without no money. So you must know your limitations. And that limitation is that when you start conserving resources and when you take the resources when you require it and when you start spending it on, suppose you're earning money, suppose you earn say, I would say about 75,000 rupees a month. After doing everything away, suppose you just squirrel away 500,000 rupees a month. You're looking at nearly 12,000 rupees a year, additional funds available for you. So that is the concept what we have here in India. Whatever you earn and we pay taxes on that, that money goes to the service sector of what the government provides you. It provides you safety and security at your borders. You're having the ITBP, you're having the BSF, you're having the army at the borders, you have readiness with the, the arm for the Navy standing, and today you have the Air Force there. You have developed your own Tejas, which is now challenging the Rafale with the Typhoon, and it has won its place in the world market today. And with the Tejas 1, Mach 1 coming in, MAK 1 coming through, you are looking at a spread of India which is unbelievable. Yeah, that is what, and all this has happened not because you have not contributed, it is because of the contribution of everybody, including the inverted commas, middle class, towards taxation, that all this has happened within the past 15 years. We have grown from nothing and it has slowly developed. The base has been set, we have to just build up on the base. If we don't have a base, we are going to suffer. If we keep borrowing, remember the borrowings of the oil bonds. We kept on borrowing for the oil bonds and one day we went broke and then we could, and today we have just repaid all the oil bonds and the interest part of it. So can you imagine what we are going through? We are going through a month and a churn. And from that churn you can get both poison and amrit. And the poison is the suffering which we may suffer in the initial stages because of the taxation. But what we are going to leave back to your children is the Amrit. That is a developed India, a beautiful India, where you are going to, when you when you go out to the international world and show your passport, oh, you're from India. When you hear the word, oh, you are from India. Or is it, oh, you are coming from India? There are two differences where the same word can be spread like that. So we are looking at, oh, you're from India. That is how you should look at the whole perspective of payment of taxes. So I would request the middle class that we should. I request the middle class to take it forward in a good spirit. And what has exactly happened for the middle class? One of the major points is that 10% to 12.5 on trading of shares. How many people trade on shares? It is only a surplus money which you trade on shares. It is not your earnings which you are trading on shares. If you are stupid enough to put your earnings into trading on shares and lose money, then nobody can be a better fool than you. But suppose you are looking at a surplus money for the purpose of earning some extra money, and it is okay. You're going to pay extra 2.5% on your earnings. Are you making a turnover of 1 crore every year, every day? It is not going to be. You may make a turnover of, say, you use your shares, it may go to, say, 10 lakhs max in a day, and you're looking at about, say, into 20 days, you're looking at a 2 crore turnover. On a 2 crore turnover, you might be making, say, a profit of, say, about 5 to 7%. Say on 2 crore turnover, a 7% profit will be approximately about, say, about 14 lakhs. On that, if you look at a percentage of 10%, it is lakh and 40. And you're going to pay 2.5% on additional on that amount which you are making. Is it a very big amount which you can't contribute for getting back so much from the government? In the form of services, in the form of the border services, foreign services, the reputation of India, the infrastructure for India, looking at the rations being provided to the poor, the roads which are being developed at great speed, and looking at the dedicated freight corridor which is going to link every corner of India where all the farmers are going to benefit from it. Can't we look at it from that angle? Why is the middle class being looked at as if they are the only fault guys? They are the guys who have been hit hard again and again. It is not so. Everybody has to go through this grind. The middle class is one area because we have still not been able to define the middle class. For example, there are so many people left India and went abroad, settled there, they made their money, and I'm talking from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But they are still middle class in the US. And therefore, what is the concept when you say middle class? It's very difficult to define. It's only the amount of taxation which you are looking at, and the people, and there are so many sources which redefine it and say, and I said totally nearly that it is a toolkit which is working towards it and saying, no, 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 it is a middle class which is affected. It is not the middle class, because nobody has defined the middle class. Let them define the middle class, let them come to an understanding of what the middle class is, and then let's talk about the targeting of the middle class. It is not so. Everybody is contributing towards it. Everybody is earning the money. For example, a samosa wala, it was recently, I read in the newspapers that the samosa wala was having 3 flats in Bombay, and he was making enough money out of that. Is the samosa wala middle class or rich or poor? Because he's making samosa and selling on the road, he's earning 3 lakhs a month. Is he middle class or is he poor or is he rich? Where do we define it? A pani puri wala, he makes 2,000 rupees a day, a profit of 2,000 rupees a day. A dosa maker, he makes 2,000 rupees a day. But he's standing in his lungi, he's wearing a half a banyan, and he's standing in the heat serving dosas. You mean he's middle class or is he poor or is he rich? Who is he? So where it is that we define the middle class? I think that we should have a relook a re-understanding, a re-measurement, whatever it happens, of why we are being targeted, that any kind of development-oriented thought process in India is being targeted. Think about it. I'll continue with my next thing. Thank you very much.